Hi, you're watching Loops Lore with Meg, and for today we're going to be doing my November TBR. This is going to be the first TBR for my channel, which is super exciting. I have created a TBR game, which has an online board, so I can actually link it down below, and if you want to use the board, you can, which is a lot of fun. It has a button at the bottom corner, which lets you pop up and roll a d20, and then you move your character along the path. And when you move along the path, there is different challenges based on the genre of book to select. A D100 challenge, which I have on a Word doc, a list of 100 challenges, and when I roll that dice, it will give me a number to be able to see which one I will do. And then I also have a TBR jar challenge, which will be a lot of fun. And then I have a booktube recommends, which will be where I either pull a book from past comments that have been recommended to me, or I will like pull up the first booktube video that is a recommendation that's recommended like in my For You page and see what is recommended there. So that is how this is gonna go. Once I get off the board, that's how many books I read. So if I roll like I think 220s, I might only read 3 books, or I can roll 48 ones. So see how it goes. I think there is around 48 spaces on the board. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of the things I will be doing is for each book that I pick and read and love, I will be crocheting a granny square because I am making a granny square cardigan or sweater. I haven't decided which one. And they're all going to be themed kind of around the books. Some of them will be some basic granny square patterns. I do have this box set of 50 granny square patterns, so I will pull some of those that fit from there for different books, but then also some of them, if they're just really themed around certain things or that kind of thing, I will probably go online and find some patterns. And I will be sure in my wrap-up videos for the month to go through and kind of show you and link any of the free patterns that I find in the comments, so that way you can go through and see and make your own if you want to for these books. So without further ado, let's get into our rolls and see what books I will be reading this month. This is my Loops Lore board game for my TBR. As you can see, I got a little character here that I can move around and everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll the D20 dice on here and move along the track until we get to the end, and however many rolls that takes is how many books are going to be on my TBR. So hopefully it's not 1,000, but we'll see how this goes. So let's go ahead and do roll number 1. We got a 5, so let's go back out, move our character over to 5, and it is a D100 challenge roll dice. So let's cut back to Megan at her bookshelves and we will figure out what that challenge is. Okay, so for right now, I don't have a place set up to film myself rolling the dice, so I am going to use a digital version of it to roll my D100. So I'm going to add 5 D20s on here and then roll them to figure out what my challenge is going to be. So let's roll all these, and it is challenge 67. So let's go see what challenge 67 is. So roll number 1 is a D100 challenge, which I rolled a 67. And that challenge is to read a book set in the future. So this actually worked out perfectly because I'm a part of a women's group at my company that I work for, which is what company means. But, you know, blah. What? I don't know what I'm doing right now. Anyways, I run a book club for that women's group, and the book that was picked this month, I picked 4 books from the top 100 Reader's Choice New York Times article. I picked the 4 books by women that were in the top 10, and the book that got voted on by our members is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And this works out perfectly for me because this book flips between the present and the future, and when a flu outbreak like causes a pandemic apocalyptic event, And in the present, you're finding out and kind of watching the spread of that virus. And in the future, it is set, I think, 10 or 15 years after the initial infection. And you follow a Shakespearean troupe who is going through all of these different settlements and kind of spreading joy, basically, and about their survival. And this is a reread for me. And I'm very excited to reread this. I read it back in 2017. I gave it 5 stars then. We'll see if it's still a 5-star. I hope it is. I feel like some of this book, though, once you know what's going to happen, it takes away a little bit from it. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But the writing of Emily St. John Mandel is beautiful. She has written some fantastic books that I have given a high 4 or 5-star to almost all of them that I've read. So this is going to be a November read for sure, because I need to read it before our December 6th meeting for my company. So there we go. Now let's go for roll number 2, which is a 19. Nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, 24. And we have a nonfiction challenge. Roll number 2 is a nonfiction. So it actually, again, works out perfectly that a book I already needed to read fills this prompt. And this is for my in real life book club with my friends. And we are going to be reading Stiff, which is The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. This is a nonfiction about cadavers and what they've done in the past and what they're used for, I believe, and how they've helped science progress forward. I have read books with similar themes to this and have loved them. And I feel like Mary Roach is such a powerhouse within the science nonfiction world that I think this is going to be super good. I got the physical copy from the library, but I also have the audiobook through the like Audible Plus catalog. It's included in there. So I am really, really looking forward to this. So we'll see what I think. Hopefully this is going to be a 5-star read too. Roll number 3 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at 32. And it is another nonfiction challenge. Great. We're going to have 2 nonfiction books this month. I'm actually really excited about that. I haven't read a lot of nonfiction lately, so that will be good times. It is going to be a nonfiction heavy month this month, which I'm actually really excited about. I feel like I always really, really enjoy nonfiction, especially science nonfiction. That's my jam. I really, really enjoy that. So I ended up picking a sequel to a book. The first book is The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Steve Bruchette, I think is how you say his name. I should have looked that up. But this is a 5-star nonfiction for me. I adored this book. So naturally, I want to read the second one, which is The Rise and Reign of Mammals. The first book follows, obviously, the rise and fall of dinosaurs. And it really was interesting because it wasn't just like facts about Pacific dinosaurs. It was more about the events that happened within the different time periods that took place that dinosaurs were alive, and the different extinction events and like that kind of thing. And I don't know, I did not realize how many extinction events there actually was within that time, and I found that part of that book fascinating. So I really hope that same kind of story aspect pulls into the second book, because I think it's going to be, again, another 5-star read. Am I going to have 3 5-star books in a row in 1 month? I don't know, but if I was going to predict, I would say these could be 3 5-star books, which I'm really, really excited about. And for roll number 4, we have a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for 36.
And that is a fantasy book. That will be perfect.
The fourth book roll is fantasy. And once again, am I going to have 4 or 5 stars? Because I have picked The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. And I am on chapter 35 or 38 of The Final Empire, the first book in the Mistborn series. And it's a 5-star read. Like, I'm loving it. If you know what happens around that point, you know that I'm kind of like in shock right now. But anyways, this is about, I don't even know how to explain what this is about. It has the coolest magic system I've read in a long time. It is all based on metals and consumption of metals, and each metal gives you a different power, which is so cool. It is about overthrowing a corrupt empire, but you don't really understand fully how it's corrupt because there's a lot still to figure out there, and how it got to the point that it's at. But there's like an immortal ruler, there's the Mistborn, which are the magical metal wielding people, and it's just, it's so good. I don't even know how to begin to give a synopsis of the first one, so I'm hoping that I love this one as much. I will say that the first one, when I first started it, it was slow at the beginning. It definitely took a while to build up, and I was getting nervous because the writing style is super accessible. It's super easy to read. It draws you in really fast, but it felt like it was taking forever and felt like it was going to end fast. But I was like, I'm only 25% of the way to the book. Like, there's no way that what they're working to is what they're working to, and the twists and turns were great. So I hope that continues on. With the title of this book, I hope that we find out more about what pertains to the Well of Ascension, and I hope that's the case. So again, the first book is a 5-star. Will this one be a 5-star? That would be really cool.
Roll number 5, and we're starting to get to where I want some big numbers, because 5 books in a month is a lot. So let's do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 43. And that is the TBR jar. So let's see what book I draw.
The 5th roll is a TBR jar pick. So we have a TBR jar, and we're going to pick one and see what we get. I'm just going to dig around in here. I will say that there is some books in here that would be rereads for me, because I need to reread them to continue on with a series type thing. So if I get something that is a sequel to something I feel like I need to reread, I can always go back and reread the first book or the second book or wherever I'm at in the series before reading the book on the paper. But I'm hoping that maybe I'll get one of my TBR like books that I haven't read, if that makes sense. Okay, so I got Born by Jeff Vandermeer, and I'll be honest, this might end up being a unhaul situation, because I know that people really love this book, but I have owned it 8 years, maybe? Probably since it came out, and I have not had the desire to pick it up. And I feel so bad about that. But a part of what I want this series to be is, for my TBRs, is to actually go through and either decide if I am going to read something, if I'm going to DNF it, or if I'm going to unhaul it. Because my shelves are full. I have no more space, and I have a TBR cart that is full. It's all books that I haven't read, but I've also owned for years. So, that didn't make the cut to get on the shelf at the first round. So, honestly, if I get a book, then I'm just like, I might end up just unhauling it. So, we'll see. I'll give that one a few chapters when I get to it and see. I guess I should actually like pick it up and show you. This is it. It's the coolest cover. Really, really love the cover. But the thing about this book is, from what I understand, it's a little bit weird. And I don't always do great with weird, nonsensical books. And if that is the case, I don't know if I'll handle this very well. I like order. I like to understand. And so that's made me hesitant to pick this up. It is a science fiction, which is one of my favorite things of all time. So I will definitely at least start this. I don't promise that I'll finish it. It is super short, so hopefully I'm just completely wrong about this. And it is one of my favorites. We'll see. I'm nervous. I don't even know enough about this to tell you what it's about. I don't know. The little blurb at the front, am I a person? Born asked me. Yes, you are a person, I told him. But like a person, you can be a weapon too. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm nervous about this. So let's go into 6 roll and see what I get there.
And let's see if this is our final roll or not. It is. So I am off the board, and that means I don't have another challenge to fulfill.
So roll number 6 actually got me off the board. So that means I only have 5 books on my TBR, which leaves me open to possibly me reading some, but some of these are quite thick. Will Ascension will take me a while to read. So that is it for my TBR. Let me know what you're reading. If you're reading any of these, we can buddy read on Storygraph. That'd be so much fun. I will link my Storygraph down below, so that way you can go in there and follow me and let me know if you do want to do a buddy read, because that's one of my favorite things ever to do. And it also motivates me to read the book more, which is, you know, double win. Is that the saying? I don't know. Hey, so I was packing up my stuff and realized that I forgot a part of what I want to do with my TBR videos, and that is also to tell you like the different projects I'm going to work on with my crochet. So obviously books that I love is going to get a green square, but this month I really need to focus on catching up with my temperature blanket. I started my temperature blanket at the start of the year, and I think I'm still on June. So I have quite a ways to catch up and kind of work in. So yeah, that's going to be the goal for the month, is to maybe at least get to August done in my temperature blanket. So I will update you at the end of the month on how that's going. And if I make anything else this month with my crochet, I will be sure to share it in my wrap up. So that is all cut back to the other video. So that is it. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Happy reading. Stay cozy. Stay crafty. Bye.